folks. Welcome to week number 2 of Interpersonal Communications, fall of 2014 at Hennepin Technical College. Hopefully the first week you were able to go in and watch the orientation video, complete your extra credit assignments, the VARC discussion posting, and your course expectations extra credit Dropbox assignment. Those were all due on Friday, August 29th, and I should have those most likely read and recorded probably in about 4 or 5 days. My grading policy is that I try to get everything graded within 7 days, just so that you as students have a good handle on how well you're doing in the class. I think that's really important for you to get that timely feedback. So we are moving into week number 2, which is September 1st through September 5th. And if you notice here on our schedule, for week number 2, we're going to be focusing on Chapter 1, which is just a basic introduction to interpersonal communications. It's a great chapter in that it kind of gives you a good content overview and gives you an idea of what interpersonal communication is all about. So you will need to read Chapter 1. And then we do have a couple of assignments due. If you look over here, you'll see discussion posting number 1. And 2 responses to your classmates are due by Wednesday, September 3rd. Also note that quiz 1 is due by Friday, September 5th by 11:59 p.m. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my screen here, and I'm just going to stay under table of contents. I was just on the course schedule there, but I'm going to go down under Unit 1, Chapter 1, and here you see your checklist of things that you need to do. This will also be on our course homepage as well, but I want to go down here and click on the discussion grading rubric. This is how I'm going to grade and assess each of your discussion postings. So I do want you to pay some close attention to it because I want you to get full points on each of your discussions. So the top part of the document, I kind of scrolled right by that, sorry about that. The top part of the document is just a description of each of the discussion postings that you're going to be doing. The bottom part of the document is the grading rubric that I'm going to use. So let's go up here and look at this first discussion posting. Its related reading is Chapter 1. And so what I want you to do is go to this website. It says check out Seton Hall University Professor Daniel Yates' active view of the linear, interactive, and transactional models of communication. When you click, once you're here and you click on next, it'll move from model to model. Notice the development of the models from the early linear model to the more advanced transactional model. So once you do that and you look at model, if you go through that model to model, there are 2 questions that I want you to respond to in your discussion posting. The first one is, what elements are consistent throughout the models and what elements have changed or have been added? So as you're clicking through these different models, notice what you see is staying consistent or the same throughout, and then notice what elements that you feel are changed or added. So write a paragraph there explaining what elements you think are consistent and which ones are added. And then the second question is, it says, can you think of a communication experience in your life where the interaction was similar to that shown in the linear model? In this interaction, you may have been the sender or the receiver with little or no feedback. However, most communication situations are better represented by the transactional model in which participants are engaged in real dialogue. But I want you to think about a time maybe that you did have a linear communication experience and write about that. Now, so that's the 2 questions that you're going to be responding to. What I'm looking for in your responses is we're going to go down this left-hand side here because this is an A discussion posting. Each discussion posting is worth 15 points. 10 points for your response to the discussion question, and then 5 points when you respond to at least 2 classmates. Remember that your initial discussion postings must be 100 to 150 words in length. Now that is a minimum, folks. If you need to go over that, that's perfectly fine. But please do kind of use that as a starting point. Also, please do not attach your posting as a document. I personally even like to compose my postings in a Word document, but then copy and paste it into the text box. The reason that I don't want you to attach a posting is, first of all, a lot of students will not take the time to open a document. A lot of times if students attach documents, their postings don't get read. And the other thing is I want you to get used to using that discussion text box. So here's what we're going to do. So when we look down the left-hand side, and I'm going to be reading your discussion postings, what I'm going to look for is a clear and in-depth understanding of the reading, in which in this case is Chapter 1, including 4 definitions from our text with page numbers cited. So I don't want you just to say, here are 4 definitions or 4 concepts with definitions that I think relate. I want you to apply them in your answers to show that you truly do understand the text concepts. I want you to clearly address both questions. I want you to provide an original and thoughtful answer. I would like to see a clear connection from ideas to your various experiences and readings. Needs to be written entirely in your own words. And it needs to be free of grammar or mechanical errors. Now remember, folks, because this is a transferable level course, meaning it's the same course you would take if you were enrolled at Mankato State or at the University of Minnesota or any other college or university within the MnSCU system, all of your assignments do need to be at that college level writing. So that means that you must use correct punctuation, correct capitalization, spelling, spacing, all of that. Treat this as a mini paper instead of a posting. I know it's really tempting as a student when you see a discussion posting assignment to write in a way that you might if you were writing a text message to a friend. But truly, because this is a graded assignment, it does need to be done at a college level writing. So an A discussion posting, again, will apply and discuss at least 4 concepts from the chapter, cited with definitions and page numbers. It will clearly address the question. It will have your own experiences and perceptions in there, and it will be free of grammar or mechanical errors. Now remember that you also need to respond to 2 classmates. They need to be at least 50 to 75 words in length each. Responses to classmates under that will not receive points. So you do not need to cite concepts unless you'd like to in your responses to classmates. So there you go. That is our first discussion posting. Remember, folks, that I am more than happy to review any of your written assignments before you turn them in. If you email me them and say, hey, Michelle, will you take a look at it, which already a couple of students have done, I am more than happy to take a peek at it and give you feedback on discussion postings or papers or any of the written assignments that we're doing for our class. All right, I'm going to click back over here onto content, and I want to go down and look at, you notice that besides your discussion postings due, you do have your first quiz due. And if we go down here, you will see here is Chapter 1, which is our PowerPoint slides for this chapter. These are also available on the Cengage website. You certainly can print them out from either one if you like. But I want to go down and just click on this document, which is just some quiz taking suggestions. Remembering again that each quiz has 13 multiple choice and or true-false questions. But it's also really important to remember that you only have 20 minutes to complete each quiz. If you go over the 20-minute quiz window, you do receive a 0 on the quiz. So there's a little quiz timer clock that you will see as you're quizzing. Please pay close attention to it. Now obviously, if you're answering 13 questions in 20 minutes, you are not going to have the time to look up the answers in your book. And that's why I really encourage you to prepare heavily for each quiz, because you're just not going to have the time, folks, to look it up. I know in some online courses you do have a lot more time to quiz, and the instructor is anticipating that you're going to be looking up the answers in your text. This is not one of those courses. I do want you to know the information in your head. And you might have time in that 20-minute window to look up 1 or 2 answers, but you will certainly not have time to look up all 13. So you do need to spend time in test preparation. So here's what I recommend that you do. First of all, read the chapter thoroughly in a quiet environment. Lots of studies, folks, coming out, even in our multitasking world, that what we have found is that students retain information and comprehend information best if they read it, especially for the first time, in a quiet environment. That means no TV, no phone out, no computer on, just a completely quiet environment that allows you to focus on the material. Once you do that, I recommend that you print out the PowerPoint slides. Remember that they're available here under Content. They're also available on the Cengage site. And I would print them out like 6 slides on a sheet and then go back through the chapter taking notes on the slides. I also add page numbers next to each of the slides so that if I do want to have to look it up quickly, I have a page number there as a reference. The third thing, once you've read it and once you've taken notes on the PowerPoint slides, I would encourage you to go to the CourseMate site. Hopefully all of you were able to get registered and use your access code online last week. There are just a lot of different options on CourseMate. There are videos that you can watch. There's an ebook that you can use. There are flashcards. There are games. There's a vocabulary sheet. What students have told me for them was the most useful were the flashcards and then the games. Students really like the online games as well. Then what I would do is I would then go online and complete the discussion posting that is due. And if you see the way that this is ordered, you see that it makes sense because you have to apply at least 4 text concepts with definitions and page numbers. It makes sense to do your chapter prep before you actually do your discussion posting. The discussion posting then really works to kind of cement that information that you've already learned. So it's helpful to compose your posting and read your classmates' postings before quizzing because it gives you an opportunity to reflect on the assigned chapter and read other students' reactions to the test material. The fifth thing I would do is then to review your PowerPoint slides and notes and your review sheet. Now remember, in our textbook, at the very back of the textbook, there is a perforated sheet for each of the chapters that you can rip out that is a review sheet. So I would review your PowerPoint slides with your notes, and then I would review that review sheet before you actually log on to take the quiz. So those are just some suggestions that students have given me on how they prepared best for those quizzes. So again, just a really quick little check here. This week what we're going to be working on is Chapter 1. Great start to the semester in that it gives you a very good introduction to what is interpersonal communication. And then you see here all of our assignments that are due. Discussion posting number 1 and 2 responses to classmates are due on Wednesday, September 3rd. And then quiz number 1 is due by Friday, September 5th. All of this by 11:59. Do continue to check your HTC email account. And again, just a quick reminder, if for some reason you're not able to access your email account or you haven't been accessing it, you do really need to do that because I will probably send out at least probably once a week just an update, a reminder, or some tips for the class to help you be successful to your email. So you do want to make sure that you have access to that. Okay, folks, hopefully your first week went well and you're feeling ready to jump in and get started on our materials. Please know that you can work ahead if you like. I'm more than happy to look at assignments as you get them completed. I did have one student who has already completed their first written assignment, so it's wonderful for me to have folks that are working ahead like that. So feel free to work ahead if you would like. If you want to quiz ahead, you are more than welcome to do that. Everything is open, all the Dropbox are open, and all of the the quizzes are open as well. As always, remember that I'm here, and that is what my job is to be here to assist you and help you be successful. So please use me as a resource. Reach out if you have any questions or you're just not sure about anything. Please do send me an email. Also remember that I do have office hours during the week. I am on the Eden Prairie campus on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I have office hours from 9 to 10 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But Wednesday I have a late class too, so I am there in the afternoon if that works better for you to swing by. So hope you are doing well. Please reach out if you are not and let me help you. And keep doing good work. Thanks, folks.